And we're joined now by CBS News political analyst Jamelle Bouie and Politico, of course, congressional reporter Jake Sherman. Jamelle, I want to start with you first. Paul Ryan said that he and Trump need to get to know each other a little bit more. This isn't Match.com. The two know who they are. They know the other entity. So really, ultimately, who needs who more?
I think Trump probably needs Ryan a little more than Ryan needs Trump, right? If Trump loses, Ryan most likely still has the House of Representatives. He's still Speaker of the House. He still has sort of a redoubt from which he can try to rebuild the Republican Party or work with others to rebuild the Republican Party after Trump lost. But in order for Trump to have any chance at winning the general election, he needs a fully unified Republican Party. And that means getting 90% of Republicans on board, like Republican voters on board, like Romney managed in 2012 or McCain in 2008. If Trump falls short of that absolute Republican unity, then in a real sense he cannot win. He needs, in modern elections, when two parties are roughly evenly matched, as soon as one party has even a slight disadvantage against the other, that can really transform the entire game across the map. So I think, Trump needs Ryan to be on board. And if Ryan isn't on board, if Ryan even just signals that, I'm not confident in Trump whatsoever, that will be an important blow to Trump's campaign for the White House.
Jake, to Jamelle's point, a new article in your publication out today says that Paul Ryan is stuck in a, quote, Trump trap. It says lining up with Trump could actually hurt Ryan's brand, but failing to support him could alienate Trump's base. So how does Ryan straddle that middle line?
I think the best case scenario for Trump at this point when it comes to Ryan is that Ryan gives him some sort of qualified endorsement. These are two very different people. I mean, Ryan has spent 20 years trying to build this brand as a serious conservative with policy chops who takes legislating very seriously, and Donald Trump, by all accounts, hasn't really offered any substantive legislative proposals at all. So Ryan wasn't about to put his brand at risk for Trump. And I think going forward over the next couple weeks and months, the best case scenario for Trump will be Ryan saying, listen, I'm going to vote for the nominee, but my focus is on maintaining the House majority. I wish Trump well. I'll help him when I can, but my job is to get as many House Republicans reelected in November.
It's all a bit confusing, Jamelle. Some Republican leaders are getting behind Trump. However, they're a bit reluctant, and there's Marco Rubio who says that he'll actually support the party nominee, even though he actually called Trump a con man and a lunatic. So if you're a Republican voter, what do you make of all this?
It depends on what kind of Republican voter you are. If you are an ideologically conservative voter, if the reason you are a Republican is because you believe firmly in conservative principles, then I have to imagine that seeing figures like Ryan and Rubio and others who oppose Trump from the basis of these principles, seeing them, if not endorse him, then kind of tacitly get behind him, must be very disappointing, must be disheartening. I think it's hard for voters from that perspective to see why they would do that, even though from our perspective, I think it's easy to see that they're Republicans first and they're trying to maintain some kind of party unity. But if you are a Trump voter, if you are someone whose attachment to the Republican Party is less out of conservative ideology and more for a variety of other things, from sort of cultural affinity to, I think in the case of Trump voters in particular, racial resentment, then, you're glad to see everyone come on board. You have no real beef with Republicans who are trying to support Trump, and in fact, it probably makes them look better in your eyes that they're trying to get behind Trump. So it just depends on the kind of Republican voter you are, and I think that this divide between the two different kinds of Republican voters is going to matter a lot in the fall, because these ideological conservatives may decide that they would rather stay home than cast a ballot for Donald Trump.